Hello and thanks for joining us on Chicago Tonight. I'm Brandis Friedman. Here's what we're looking at. City officials will no longer use a shuttered school in Woodlawn as a migrant shelter.
And by fun, we mean lawns and trees blanketed with cicadas screaming at the tops of their lungs.
Chicago is still waiting on the cicada invasion, but other states are already buzzing. A look at what we have to look forward to.
Oh, say, can you see?
And one-on-one with legendary opera singer Renee Fleming on the healing power of music and her own experiences with stage fright. And now to some of today's top stories. A former Loretto hospital official is being charged with embezzling nearly $500,000. Heather Bergdahl is facing federal charges for allegedly working with a doctor to steal from Loretto by writing hospital checks to businesses the doctor purported to own. But prosecutors say those were not legitimate businesses and the hospital never received goods or services. The Chicago Tribune, which first reported Bergdahl's charges, says the case stems from an ongoing investigation into the hospital's vaccination program. The facility came under fire during the pandemic for allegedly offering still rare COVID-19 vaccines to people connected to the hospital's CEO and COO, though neither have been criminally charged. About 73% of Illinois residents on Medicaid have been able to maintain their coverage as the state began re-implementing a process that was paused during the COVID pandemic.
But millions of others, for example, those who are homeless or those who have geographic or technology barriers or whose disabilities had prevented them from previously applying for Medicaid coverage, were in danger now of being thrown off their newly found Medicaid coverage despite being eligible. So how your state handles Medicaid redeterminations has a huge impact on whether your population gets health care coverage.
Governor J.B. Pritzker and other state leaders say nearly 3.8 million Illinois people went through Medicaid redeterminations, a process confirming that people are still eligible for the health care coverage. The state says it launched the Ready to Renew campaign a year ago to ensure that Medicaid patients knew about the process to avoid losing their coverage. A key city panel will get a chance to quiz Mayor Brandon Johnson's picks to serve as the first permanent members of the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability. If the 7 nominees win the endorsement of the City Council Committee on Police and Fire, the full City Council could vote to confirm them as soon as next week. The commission has the final say on policy for the Chicago Police Department, subject to a veto from the mayor. To learn more about the appointees themselves, visit our website at WTTW.com/news. And hundreds of Chicago public schools crossing guards were celebrated during an appreciation ceremony today, honoring the critical role they play in making sure kids get to school safely. They also named 4 crossing guards of the year.
Kimberly Dukes, she crosses at 51st and Artesian for Christopher Elementary. Kimberly Dukes, she's been a crossing guard for 19 plus years. During her 19-year tenure in service, she supported a little bit over 15 different schools in the Englewood area.
And of course, both Mayor Johnson and school CEO Pedro Martinez were on hand to present the awards. Up next, a controversial migrant shelter closes. Reporter Heather Sharon has the details right after this.
Chicago Tonight is made possible in part by the Alexandra and John Nichols family, the Jim and Kay Mabey family, the Polk Brothers Foundation, and the support of these donors.
Mayor Brandon Johnson says a shuttered public school in Woodlawn will no longer be used as a shelter for migrants. The move to close the shelter at the former Wadsworth Elementary School comes 15 months after it opened amid an uproar. WTTW News reporter Heather Sharon joins us now with more. Heather, remind us why the shelter at Wadsworth, which is at 64th Street and University Avenue, why was it so controversial?
Well, in February 2023, Mayor Lori Lightfoot moved forward with the plan to open it up despite vehement objections from Alderman Jeanette Taylor, who said it didn't make any sense to put mostly Latino migrants migrants in the country after requesting asylum in a predominantly Black neighborhood that didn't have any services to help them to adjust to their new hometown. She was also concerned that it would exacerbate tension between longtime residents of Woodlawn who were furious that the city had spent $1.5 million to renovate the school into a shelter after it had sat vacant for more than a decade. And of course, it became that flashpoint with longtime residents saying that the shelter reduced the quality of life in their neighborhood and led to a surge in sort of quality of life crimes like loitering and littering.
Wadsworth, it's the latest migrant shelter to be closed by the Johnson administration, which is now operating 16 facilities. What is the latest on the city's effort to care for its newest arrivals?
Well, in all, 41,000 people have made it to Chicago, most on buses paid for by Texas Governor Greg Abbott. The city has really worked to reduce the shelter population, which right now stands at about 8,400 people. That is down significantly from the peak in the late 2023, early 2024. And the Johnson administration says they've cracked the code on how to humanely care for the migrants while not sort of breaking the city's bank.
The city began enforcing this also controversial 60-day limit on shelter stays beginning in mid-March. How many migrants have been evicted so far?
About 700 people have been asked to leave the city's migrant shelters, and we don't really know where they went because the city says they're not tracking it. So it's a big concern for some members of the Chicago City Council who worry about a surge in Chicago's unhoused population. But the mayor has said that these shelters can't be a permanent solution for the migrants and that they have to get on their feet. The big test will be in the early weeks of June when families will be asked to leave the shelter once they hit that 60-day limit and the school year ends.
Of course. And now for more than a year, the city officials, they've been bracing for a surge of more migrants coming into Chicago in anticipation of the Democratic National Convention, expecting Republican Governor Greg Abbott in Texas to send more before the DNC. But that gathering is less than 100 days away. Any signs of this increase they've been preparing for?
No huge surge has materialized yet, but the migrants are still coming in greater numbers. So the number of people who arrived from the southern border increased about 8% in the last month as compared to the month before, but that is pretty standard for what this crisis has sort of been since it began. The question is there anything that the city can do to prevent the surge? And the answer is really no. However, President Joe Biden this week asked sort of for new rules restricting on the number of people who could request asylum. That could reduce the number of people attempting to cross the southern border and request asylum, but those are far out of the control of Mayor Brandon Johnson and, of course, organizers for the Democratic National Convention.
Okay, more to keep an eye on. Heather Sharon, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brandis.
And you can read Heather's full story on our website. It's all at WTTW.com/news. Up next, what you can expect from that incoming cicada invasion. Cicada Watch 2024 is reaching fever pitch in the Chicago region, where millions of the insects are expected to burst from the ground any day now. But why will there be so many in Illinois this year? Here's Patty Wetley with the answer in our WTTW News Explains series.
It's time to stock up on earplugs, folks, because things are about to get loud. In case you hadn't heard, the cicadas are coming. We said the cicadas are coming! Now, maybe you're wondering, what's the big deal? We get cicadas every year. It's true that annual cicadas, also known as dog days cicadas, turn up every July or August just to remind us that summer's almost over. But there's another kind of cicada called periodical cicadas. They're more like reclusive rock stars. They disappear underground for years, living off of tree roots, and then emerge topside to loads of media hype. They even have the bloodshot eyes to complete the look. These periodical cicadas are grouped into 15 different broods scattered across the eastern U.S. Each brood has a different alarm clock of sorts set on either a 13-year or 17-year cycle. When the alarm goes off, the entire brood busts out of hiding so they can hurry up and mate and die. So what's the buzz in 2024? This spring, 2 different broods in Illinois are getting their wake-up call at the same time. A 13-year brood in southern Illinois and a 17-year brood in northern Illinois will make their first joint appearance in more than 200 years. The last time this happened, Illinois wasn't even a state. Before you picture skies darkened with trillions of insects, don't worry. The broods don't really overlap geographically. And places where the ground has been disturbed a lot over the years, like Chicago, will miss out on most of the fun. And by fun, we mean lawns and trees blanketed with cicadas screaming at the tops of their lungs. Actually, all that noise comes from male cicadas doing a serious core workout. They have a special body part that they vibrate by contracting tiny muscles hundreds of times a second. Then they use their abdomen like an amp, cranking up the sound to lawnmower levels on the decibel chart. Believe it or not, this ear-splitting racket is the fella's mating song, and lady cicadas dig it. One thing leads to another, and the next thing you know, a new generation of baby cicadas hatches, burrows underground, and the whole cycle starts all over again. See you in 2041.
So while Chicagoans are still waiting for the grand emergence, southern states are already buzzing. WTTW News reporter Patty Wetley joins us now with what we can expect. Patty, we can expect a bunch of bugs.
I know you're excited.
Super excited about the bugs. Super excited as always. So where exactly are the cicadas starting to emerge?
I mean, they've already come out in states like Alabama, Missouri, Arkansas, the southern states. They're full on emergent. So head to any social media channel and you'll see lots of videos from people either loving or hating it in those states. But they're definitely really hitting full emergence now in southern Illinois. Those forests in southern Illinois, they've got a different brood than we're expecting here in the northern part of the state. And because it's so dependent on soil temperature, that's why we might be lagging a little bit from our southern counterparts, because they're waiting for the soil to hit 64 degrees and then ta-da, here they all come.
Everybody out.
Yeah.
So how are people describing what they are hearing, though, in those areas?
I've heard a lot of different descriptions. Some people say they sound like if you're watching TV, like an old 1960s movie, what a spaceship might have sounded like. It's kind of like a sound more than what you would think of. Somebody else said it sounds like government mind control. So like
that's what
some steady stream of noise just, messing with our brain waves.
Perhaps
it's
a
loud,
1970s sci-fi movie.
Yes, it's loud.
Okay, we can expect that for sure.
Sorry.
We're excited. When can Chicago expect its emergence of the cicadas?
I mean, honestly, I was checking some of my Facebook pages today, and people are starting to see them, but it's very kind of spotty. So where you have older trees is where people are going to tend to see them more than if you live in a suburb maybe that grew up out of farmland. They're not going to be there. Sorry, places like Evanston, North Shore neighborhoods, Oak Park, they're going to see a full-on emergence. I've seen, people might say, I've seen them here in Willow Springs or DeKalb. Oh, I'm not seeing them in Naperville. I'm seeing them here. I'm not seeing them there. But they are starting to slowly come out. So we had a false alarm a couple weeks ago when we had rains and some of them were getting flushed out of their hidey holes. False alarm, but they are starting now. I would say within the next weekish or so.
So if you've got a 150-year-old tree in your yard,
they're going to be coming up
and tree. Be ready for that. How are people getting ready for this?
Well, some folks are wrapping their young trees, saplings. If you have a tree that's maybe a year or two old, this definitely was not the year to plant a tree this spring. They're putting them in netting around them. The insects themselves don't really hurt the trees when they flock on them by the hundreds or whatnot, but the females do make these cuts in very tender branches, and that's where they lay their eggs. and that can damage a young tree. An older tree can withstand that. It just might not look so pretty. But I've seen images of like, doesn't look great this year, it's fine next year. So
30 seconds left, Patty. How excited are you?
I mean, I'm super excited just to see how people react. I was around for the last one, and we didn't see any in my part of the city, so I'm definitely going to head to some forest preserves this time and try and get the full-on experience. Maybe from a distance. Maybe I'll watch people's video feeds. I don't know. We'll see.
I know you'll bring us the full report after you do.
I will.
Of course. Patty Wetley, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brandis.
And you can read Patty's full story on our website. And while you're there, you can also watch more in our Emmy Award-winning series, WTTW News Explains. It's all at WTTW.com/news. Up next, one-on-one with world-renowned opera singer Renee Fleming. World-renowned soprano Renee Fleming has a new project, but it's not a new opera. It is a book called Music and Mind, a collection of essays exploring the extraordinary healing power of music and the arts and what modern science is uncovering about that connection. Amanda Vinicky recently sat down with the operatic superstar who made her lyric opera debut back in 1993 and who served for many years as its first ever creative consultant to talk about the book. Amanda began by asking Fleming about its origins at a dinner with 3 Supreme Court justices and the director of the National Institutes of Health.
Well, this wasn't just any dinner because it was the day after marriage equality was decided, and so the 3 justices were not as chummy as they normally are. And Dr. Francis Collins, who was the head of the National Institutes of Health for 12 years until very recently, brought his guitar, as I've since learned he always does. And we started singing together. We kind of staged a sing-along. There was a little band there as well, singing just songs that everybody knows. This Land Is Your Land, Shenandoah, and things like that. But we ended with The Times They Are A-Changing, which was a particularly apt that evening. And everybody relaxed, had a wonderful time. And I said to Dr. Collins, I said, I'm just starting at the Kennedy Center as an advisor. I find the work that scientists are doing now in terms of researching music amazing. Why are they doing it? So I'm asking the right person. And he said, we have a brain initiative and we want to understand the brain, and music is actually in every known mapped area of the brain. It's a very complex kind of series of processes that human beings have to do to engage with music, to play, to listen, and it's something we take for granted because it's the air we breathe, it's everywhere. So he said, that's why we're studying it, because we really want to know more about the brain.
Now, I know you are not a scientist per se, but you did edit this book. Is there anything else that's in every mapped region of the brain, or is music unique?
It's pretty unique. There isn't anything that's quite that widespread, that's quite that kind of part of our DNA. I mean, certainly visual art is important. Our aesthetic experiences, they pertain to nature, are really healthy for us. And we know that. We know a lot of this. We musicians obviously really know it, but science is beginning to know it in a way that will impact people's lives, impact our healthcare system, and I think begin to solve even more issues that we're having.
It seems so obvious that music has power. It has, the power to provide solace, to energize, to bring people joy. What, therefore, needs to be studied, or what is there to learn from studying music?
So we're working, for instance, with Alzheimer's patients and dementia patients for whom music memory is the last to go. So a lot of people who have been around elder care facilities have seen this happen, that someone doesn't know any of the people around them or can't remember much of anything, and yet if you start singing a song, they know all the lyrics perfectly. So I saw this myself with my husband's aunt. It's magical. childhood development, children benefit tremendously from learning to play a musical instrument. We're also finding...
Even newborns.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In fact, in utero, they're listening, they hear, they remember music that they've heard. So the studies are now able to show us that these things are really interesting and also potentially helpful. So movement disorders, Parkinson's, MS, stroke, all of these patients can benefit tremendously from music, because suddenly, if they couldn't walk or they're shuffling or freezing, if you put on a rhythmic beat with something, they'll suddenly move gracefully. So there are a lot of ways in which music, because it's in different parts of the brain, can help us bypass the problem areas and inspire us to be able to do things we otherwise can't do. Another favorite one is melodic intonation therapy. So for
what's that?
Brain injury or stroke, those are the main things. But if you've lost aphasia, if you can't speak, melodic intonation therapy in one session can give you the power to communicate again. Again, because you're bypassing the speech area and going to the singing area. So this is a favorite one of mine. And suddenly you can communicate, because the words, you can sing the words, but you can't speak them. Isn't that fascinating?
So you've been in opera halls, but now you're possibly as well, your recordings are in therapy sessions in hospitals.
Well, that would be great. I mean, I really think that all of these therapies should be embedded in our healthcare system across the board.
So what is the challenge with that? There's clearly a lot to still learn about why music is so powerful and creates these pathways. But if science knows this already, what are the challenges with having insurance cover these sorts of therapies, or making sure that it is more common?
You're asking exactly the right question, because first of all, there's still a lot to learn. What's the right dosage? How to choose what music works for everyone. Of course, for insurance, et cetera, this has to be fully validated. The fact that the National Institutes of Health is now funding the research is a massive game changer.
Is that part of your objective with this book, is making this more common, more well-known?
Absolutely. It's the breadth of the field, because I wanted people to know more. So yeah, I'm like the chief cheerleader and the advocate in a way. So because I'm passionate about it, and I'm not a scientist, but I do want to use my platform as a performer to share this information.
It's my understanding that you have experienced stage fright, which is, I think probably a lot of people are astounded by. You're Renee Fleming. You can have stage fright. What, if anything, have you learned through this about overcoming those sort of somatic episodes?
So the somatic pain was what kind of drove me to this, and the somatic pain was kind of a distraction from the stage fright and performance pressure. So that's what got me interested in the mind-body connection. Trauma is now heavily researched, and they're finding benefits with theater and with other initiatives and arts in general. So one thing I'm doing this year, and one thing I've learned, is that from January 1st, I said, I am going to make time in my day, every day, to do the things I love, that bring me happiness and that help me relax.
What is that for you?
Because I tend to work. So that's walking outside, it's theater, it's museums everywhere I tour. It's of course going to musical concerts, so whether it's the symphony or the opera or a music theater. And I can't tell you how good this is for me. In a year when I would probably be on my news feed all day and on opinion news feeds all day, I just said, I'm not doing it this year.
You talked about the associations that particularly those struggling with dementia have with music. And I'm wondering if you could share what, if any, particular songs or maybe performances evoke memories and pivot points in your life.
For me, it's major performances. I mean, the Super Bowl, it doesn't get bigger than that.
No, it does not.
Oh, say, can you see?
It was terrifying, 110 million people, and Black Hawk helicopters flying over. But certainly that and
But now every time you hear the national anthem, it takes you back there?
Yes, absolutely. The memory is incredibly powerful. We go right there, and it happens with smells, it happens with taste. All of our senses are working all the time, you know, historically to keep us safe and to keep us also connected to our tribes. The main point of research historically has been music, but it's expanding quickly. Visual art is now part of it. Dance is part of it.
all of the arts. You're ambassador for it in this Mind and Music Connection. Thank you so much, Renee Fleming.
Fabulous. Thank you.
And Renee Fleming continues to maintain her ties to Chicago as an advisor at the Lyrics Ryan Opera Center, which helps train the next generation of operatic performers. And again, the book is called Music and Mind, Harnessing the Arts for Health and Wellness. And that is our show for this Monday night. Don't forget to stay connected with us by signing up for our daily briefing. And you can get Chicago Tonight streamed on Facebook, YouTube, and our website, WTTW.com/news. You can also get the show via podcast and the PBS video app. And join us tomorrow night at 5:30 and 10. Chicago City Council members consider a $1.75 million settlement to the family of a woman who died in a police holding cell. And tomorrow, the highly anticipated WNBA season tips off with a brand new coach and roster. Will Chicago Sky soar to new heights? Now, for all of us here at Chicago Tonight, I'm Brandis Friedman. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy and safe, and have a good night.
Closed captioning is made possible by Robert A. Clifford and Clifford Law Offices, a Chicago personal injury and wrongful death firm, and proud sponsor of programming that offers advice and strategies to enhance the physical and mental well-being of fellow legal practitioners in Illinois.